wear headgear, especially for a social function. So why do you think this should worry me so much? It's because for nearly 50 years now, I have been making a very nice living making hats. I am a milliner. And I'm telling you, this hatless trend is just ruining my business. So I went to the Delaware schools until I was 14 years old. And then, because I knew what I wanted to do with my life, I didn't think I had to continue my education. I got a job at the Beehive, which was a women's accessory store here in Delaware. And I learned the art of hat making there. And the design and the trimming of hats. So, when I make a hat, I make it for my client's personality, and I keep that in mind as I'm making the hat. Now, this hat that I'm wearing was designed by me, for me, with my personality in mind. And I think it suits me just fine, but it's quite softened by the adornments. And if I turn it around, you'll see it has a double flap, which is another nod to the French Foreign Legion. My client wore this hat very happily for years. Now, there's stories that go around Delaware about me all the time. Okay, one of them is that I have mad hatter's disease. Now, because in years past, mercury was used for the making of hats and processing them, a lot of hat makers did come up with mercury poisoning and literally went quite mad. Well, you know, I was born in an era when women did not have the same rights as men. So this woman was not about to be subservient to any man. And I had to fight and be very strong-willed and obstinate to get to my place in life. Now, I am eccentric, but I am not a mad hatter. Now, just as an aside, don't you know how I celebrated when the 19th Amendment was passed? At last, the women had the vote. Yes. So, this is my house. This is where I live. I live at 89 Blymer Street. It's here in Delaware. My father built this house. He was a very talented builder. And I grew up here and have lived here all of my life. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to sit out in my front yard in a chair and watch the neighborhood. Most people call my front yard a weed patch. But I enjoy sitting out there. I watch the kids as they come along and play their games. These darling children have a special name for me. They call me Evil Ear. Eva Lear, Evil Ear. That's really pretty clever. But I must admit, I do get upset when they start playing their games of baseball. And these balls come into my yard, and there are a lot of them. And I look at them and I dare them to retrieve their errant balls. And most of them don't dare to do it, because you know why? There is a rumor going around, another rumor, that Eva Lear has no plumbing in her house and she empties her chamber pots in her weed patch yard, which of course is just utter nonsense. So people are really surprised to find out I have a gentleman friend. Now, this gentleman friend has boarded at my house for several years now. And at one point in time, a few years back, I believe it was about 1942, I decided to buy a snazzy new Buick. And when I did this, I made my gentleman friend my chauffeur, and therefore our relationship was legitimized. Now, it's a good thing I bought that when I did, because during the war effort, all production of automobiles ceased. So I was very lucky to get my beautiful 1942 Buick. We like to take people on road trips. So occasionally we will take a road trip up to Magnetic Springs. Now Magnetic Springs is northwest of Delaware a bit, and they have the most marvelous drinking water. And a lot of people go there to get their drinking water. So one day, a bunch of neighborhood women and I were taken by my chauffeur up to Magnetic Springs. And we had the best time in the car, singing songs and telling stories. And I don't really recall if there was any imbibing, but there was one song in particular that got a little confusing. It was the Reveille song. I was singing it. We can't get them up, we can't get them up, we can't get them up in the morning. The corporal's worse than the private, the sergeant's worse than the corporal, and on and on. Well, I accidentally sang another word that kind of made this into a very naughty song. And so the people in Delaware just couldn't stop talking about it for weeks. So add that list to the rumors and the stories, although that one might be true.